Hey, welcome back, everybody. January is the perfect time for a lot of us to reset, to start over, to give up alcohol, to have a dry January. And here to show us and tell us how to do it from GMA3, what you need to know is Dr. Jen Ashton. Hey, Dr.
Happy New
Jen.
Year, guys. How are you? Happy New
Year. Hi. Hi.
Hey, so before we get into a couple things, let's start with an update on Omicron. We've seen the positive testing going through the roof in big cities and around the country. What's the latest today?
Well, it's hard to believe, you guys. This is our third New Year's where SARS-CoV-2 or COVID is on our radar. And this is still rapidly changing and evolving. The latest is that the FDA authorized boosters with Pfizer for teens 12 through 15. So that's a big change. The isolation period for those who have tested positive, now 5 days, as long as their symptoms are mild and improving and they don't have a fever, but they do have to wear a mask for another 5 days after that. So we're seeing a lot of change, and that's based on integrating and analyzing new data. But, my daughter just tested positive and she had COVID 4 months ago and she's fully vaccinated and boosted. So this is going to hit all of us.
Is she feeling okay?
Thanks for asking, Kelly. She feels pretty good. She's in college. She actually had more symptoms, ironically, with Omicron than she did with Delta. But again, just isolating, staying away from people, much like you would with influenza.
Yeah, I think that's the big takeaway, is that people who are vaccinated are still developing symptoms, but maybe not as severe as they would have been. Right. Had they not been vaccinated and boosted. And exactly. So I hope she makes a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
From that, I just want to, if I may, for a second, congratulate you on your engagement, by the way. In a world where there's very little good news and not much to celebrate, you have given us a gift.
You guys, thank you. Thank you. I was totally surprised. It happened on New Year's Eve. We're very happy. We're very excited. And I think you're right. We feel that way too. Sometimes amazing things can come out of a pandemic, and we feel really, really blessed and lucky.
So is it a dry January for you and Tom now? Are you starting the year off with a dry January? What do you celebrate?
We did, because I actually had food poisoning that night, but that's another story.
Oh, no. Oh, the dreaded food poisoning. It's a bad celebration. That's okay. Yeah. They say food poisoning at the engagement. Great marriage. That's what they say.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So tell us about dry January.
Yeah. So you guys, dry January has exploded in popularity. It started really in the UK, but in this country, people have been doing it for the last couple of years. I've done it myself for the last couple of years, and I talk all about it in my book, The Self-Care Solution, but it's really a wellness challenge. This is not for people who are struggling with sobriety issues, who really need the help of a trained health professional. But, it's a great way to be curious and kind of see how you feel after a month. And if you do have a problem, that's important and useful information as well.
I did a month of giving up alcohol back in, it was like 4 years ago in April. Mm-hmm. And I meant to do it for the month, and I just loved the way I felt, and I never went back to it.
Yep, exactly. I remember when you did that, Kelly, and studies actually support that as well. A lot of people don't go back. A lot of people drink less in the rest of the year after they've done a dry month. And as you probably experienced yourself, and I know I did, there is a plethora of benefits that you see and feel pretty much right away. Your sleep improves, you lose a couple of pounds, your skin looks better, you're more conscious and aware of your behavior, and you save money. It's a win-win, really.
So what are some of the tips to make it successful?
Well, I start with my biggest tip is to do a science experiment with yourself. So what does that mean? It means try to track some kind of data, even if it's subjective. Maybe that's weigh yourself every other day. Maybe that's chart your sleep quality and duration. Maybe it's just, note how much money you're saving that you would have been spending on expensive cocktails or bottles of wine. But if you track something, I think it makes it more interesting. So have that curiosity. And then also, I always recommend, recruit some friends or relatives. Misery loves company, but it's fun to compare notes and support each other. And then be creative with what you are drinking. Mocktails are really exploding, and there are some incredibly creative ones out there that are really delicious and low calorie too.
I have to say, it's like one of those things that you sort of lose your taste for. Does that make sense? I lost my taste for it.
Yeah. I think, and when I was getting my degree in nutrition, there was some science behind that. You can retrain your taste buds, whether that's for a different style of eating or whether that's for the beverages we consume. So, I think that's just one of the many reasons that this has become so popular.
Yeah, a good way to start off the new year. Well, thank you very much for coming on with those tips. Congratulations again to you and Tom, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, guys. Happy New Year
so
to
happy
you.
for you.
All right, Dr. Jen's book, The Self-Care Solution, is available now everywhere books are sold. We'll be right back.